Hi. Again, the week went a bit fast and I didn't even get to do the Thursday chat, but it's weekend, Friday afternoon, so let's get busy. To start with, this one which I've discussed earlier, a boat that I got at a swap meet, which was built up to this point, and I said I want to do a sort of a derelict, damaged boat scene. So I was looking at this. Now I realized that there's a whole lot of glass parts which were supposed to go in before this reached this stage. Now I can try and break this whole piece out, and since we're not too worried about the effect, it's going to be a damaged scene anyway, I might actually have to do that. Now if you'll remember, I had spoken about this bad gluing of the hull and deck, but we're not worried too much about that. So I just want to reasonably get all the parts on and have a figure out what sort of setting I want to get that in. I'm not sure if it's worth trying to break that out, but I'm guessing it would look better than just having those holes which you can look right through. So that's something that I might dabble with a little bit as the days go on. Okay, let's get to a whole bunch of car stuff. So firstly, the Scout 2, which I'm busy on slowly. This has now had a week to dry. And I went for this green in the end, which I'm actually very happy with. I think it suits the period coloration quite nicely, even though one obtained this car in many colors, and this probably isn't exactly one of them. I sort of do feel that it lends towards that age. Now the question is, this is quite sort of shiny and clean and everything. Do I deteriorate this a little bit? I'm not exactly sure how, or just leave it as a nicely, very, very cleanly painted car. Now I will be doing stuff like putting black into the little air inlets there. I'm doing stuff around the door handles and things like that, painting the I don't even know what you call that, the rubber strip and the aluminium strip or chrome strip or whatever, those sort of things. But I'm sort of wondering if one should either spray a bit of a clear coat with a bit of brown in it to dull it down. Does look very nice as it is here. Anyway, give your thoughts. The part of this which I was hoping to avoid spending too much time on is this. So we'll see what I can get done. I mean, it's all inside, and I said I wanted it to be somewhat of a dark color and yet look mildly acceptable, so we'll see. Maybe just hand paint acrylics. The engine so far, I did like this. Now this was a little bit accidental, even though I'm sort of happy with it came out, the way it's come out, even though it might not be the way International released this engine. I think it looks acceptable. This is the same matte black that I sprayed most of the sort of non-bodywork parts with, and then gloss red. I had some gloss red left over from spraying the RS1000 parts, and I sprayed a light coat over here, and then a little bit more and a little bit more, and I think that's reasonably acceptable. Obviously it'll still get a lot more detailing, and not everything is supposed to be this red, but it's a start, it's a starting point, and I think that's sort of somewhat acceptable. a little bit sort of low key coloration, a little bit of detail. We'll see how it comes out. The underside, I mean, I'll do a bit of dry brushing and possibly a little bit of dirtying. Don't want it such a clean black, but that'll probably stay mostly as is. Okay, so on the inside here, I had that all matte black before, and then I just used normal masking tape, not modeling masking tape. Firstly, because this is a matte surface, so it's not like the masking tape is going to grip that strongly to it, and it's cheaper to use that than the modeling masking tape to do somewhat larger areas. I didn't do it quite as well as I should have. I did get a little bit of overspray in. I don't know if you're going to even get it there. You can just make out a little bit of difference, but you won't even know it because this is going to cover it. But I did mask off everything so that when spraying, certainly from the top areas, you're not getting everything closed here. You're not getting green on the inside, but it was a little bit, I didn't quite mask enough when I was spraying at this angle to just cover those ridges there and allowed a little bit to come through. But I got away with it, but I should have just masked a little bit better. And that green took quite a long time to dry. Still, you can still smell the paint, but it's pretty good. It's not perfect. You see those dust and granule marks. Some of that is because the paint is somewhat old and had a little bit of granule in it, and some of it might have been a bit of dust, but it's okay. I could spend time polishing that up, but you'd only know it if you look pretty close. I had mentioned to you that I did I filed the tires, so they're pretty good, but I think I need to do something on the inside there to clean up a little bit, possibly not really necessary with the rims going in there. Oh, and then another question. Do I do anything when this is inside the bodywork? Do I do anything to age the windows a little bit, or just keep it a bright and shiny? Bright and shiny looks nice, but it does, it sort of looks a little bit too toy-like. Give your thoughts on that one. It still gets those white decals on the green, or I mean I could leave them off, but I think it'll look not too bad. By the way, the ant problem in the model room is mostly dealt with. There's still a little bit of trace of that, but thank goodness I seem to have got that handled. Oh, so while I had some of that extra red, this was also the matte black, so that's the red sprayed over the matte black. This is underneath the car and really hardly noticeable. So I didn't plan that, I just had extra paint and decided to use it on that. Tell me if you think that's acceptable, or if you think I should just rather do a darker color. I'm not too concerned with the absolute correct colors on everything underneath, as long as the vehicle looks pretty nice from normal viewing angles. No one's going to pick it up and look underneath. So it's coming along nicely. I'm actually quite a bit happier with it than I thought I was going to be. Remember, at one stage I was almost thinking of just building it without painting it at all. Oh, one of the viewers made a comment about only building quality, not quantity, which is a fair statement. And I gave that a little bit of thought, and I have a lot of models that I need to get through the mill, and I'm not really concerned with all of them being quality models. So while that is generally okay for most modelers, and the second aspect is that I don't mind building a few models, just as I built them in the 70s. So that's why we've sort of got these two lines. Some models I'm very perfectionistic about, many of the motorbikes and various models. But some I will just build and it's okay with however it comes out. Just enjoy the build. I've got enough. Okay. Now, let's move on to this one. So this one I'm starting a little bit of work on. I have shown this in videos before. And I'm busy looking at this, and I've sort of got an idea of what I want to do with it. It's not going to be this color scheme, and I'm not using those decals. And I don't want it black. I originally thought I might, but I've decided to go with something interesting which I haven't done before, which is I was either thinking a fluorescent green. Now you can't spray that on straight, obviously. There's a number of layers that you'd have to get to before that, or a candy apple effect using clear, maybe a candy apple red, candy apple green, blue, which means that I have to spray that to chrome, which means that it needs a gloss black coat, even though this is gloss black, because the Alclad colors need a proper paint coating to grip onto rather than just onto plastic. You can get away with it spraying the Alclad straight onto gloss black plastic, but I don't want to take the chance of anything damaging it versus being on a paint layer, which is a bit more secure, even with the gloss layer afterwards. So gloss black, Alclad chrome, a gloss sealing layer, which could be the acrylic floor wax layer, and then the Tamiya clear. Or this one is not a clear, but this is a more fluorescent green, so I'll have to do trials because I haven't used either of these much at all. I can hardly remember what I may have painted with these. So I'd have to do a couple of trials. So that's where having something similar, and when I say trials, I mustn't spray it onto just random plastic. I must spray it onto almost this. I need to go through the same painting process as what I intend with this one. So give your opinions there. Clear red, as in candy apple red, candy apple green, candy apple blue, candy apple mix green blue, which is quite a nice color as well, or a more sort of Porsche like non-candy apple but fluorescent green, fluorescent very very light lime green. That's that. And then I've spoken about taking the chrome off various parts on occasion. In this case, there's no reason to take the chrome off these because the nature of that chrome, there's no seam lines. That's virtually a perfect chrome, and it's a perfect match to what you'd find on the real car, and it looks very good just like that. So not dechroming those, that'll be just as it is. So preparing the bodywork, cleaning up the parts, getting the tail mounted on. This one I would probably like to do Day-Glo Orange, which is also a number of paint colors. And it does have a very nice orange plastic base color, although I'd have to spray orange over that, but it just means that you already have a nice even, so that my first orange coat will probably be a very, very nice coat, and then do Day-Glo Orange. So I like this one very much. This one will get a whole lot more work than the black Porsche, but they'll both be very nice. And this one will get those decals. I don't really have a plan for this one yet. I have briefly spoken about this. Now this is not Tamiya and it is not quite up to the standard, but I'd like to do something nice, and probably that box scheme. I do like that scheme quite a bit. I think I had shown previously the interior was this quite odd brown color, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. Not a difficult build, probably about the same level as that black Porsche. Not a whole ton of parts. The wheels are pretty good. I'm not sure if I'd stick with that particular plating. That one is quite a bit less shiny than the Porsche, which I've just shown you. So this one I might go gloss black on that, for instance. And I'm hoping that these decals are of a good enough quality. They look okay on there. To achieve a result that looks like, you know, what you see on the box. But this, you know, this model quality is a little bit in question. I'd call it average. Oh, relating to the clear red of the Porsche, if I do a clear color. Now this is Tamiya clear that was sprayed over a bronze. Now I don't know if this is going to come through on the, yeah, you can sort of make that out, that the tip is bronze again, and what happened there is the pressure of the airbrush as I was spraying from the front, I started getting a little bit thick on the clear red right on the front, and then the pressure of the air blew it all back. Now on a spinner, luckily you can get away with that because it sort of looks like a paint effect and the speed of the aircraft sort of fits into that, but you definitely don't want corners of the car being an uneven gloss red. So this is a little bit of a warning to me that once you've got your chromed body with its clear coat on, and if you're going to do this clear red over that, which looks very nice, it's quite a challenging process to get it even at just the right pressure, not very high pressure, and you need to spray quite a bit to get the right amount of red, which means it does end up being mildly on the thick side, way more painting than the chrome or the gloss black layers that were put on previously. So I suppose a little bit more of a risky paint scheme that. But I've never done a whole car body in a candy apple, so that'll be a little bit of an interesting challenge. So I guess one of the first things is test out some of this. Now this is Gunzi Sangyo Hobby Color, and I don't know how old these paints are. I don't know what the quality is like. And I also don't know what the pre-layers might be for this. So for instance, that body from the Scout with that light green, whether putting this over that light green would give you a adequate fluorescent green and how that would look. I'm not really thinking that this one would be part of the scheme at this stage. And I don't think I have any other any other fluorescent green. Okay, and then I got these two models in a batch for a second-hand sale, which had been slightly started, or at least dabbled with in a little bit of a way. And I got them at a reasonably good price. At the worst, if there was stuff missing, just for spare parts. And at the best for, because I have them already, to be able to build sort of an alternate version, possibly with bodywork off. So we'll see. I'll think up a plan for these two, as that they're not immediate and they're not urgent. I do have proper builds going on for them, but I do like having sort of alternate versions of bikes. I'm not quite at the point where I want to do my own bodywork, do an alternate version with my own produced bodywork. I doubt that's within my skill set. You can give your thoughts on what variations one might actually do with that, other than just colors, or for instance doing a front fairing only and taking off all this side fairing. That's one option, and possibly even the same with the Blackbird, leaving off the fairing and seeing all the engine and frame underneath. Okay, I haven't done anything more with the figures, and in fact I'm not spending all the time on the models at the moment, because I still have the editing to do of my paper, but I'm doing what I can here and there. That Scout is probably progressing quite nicely at this stage, so that'll get slightly more attention, and just cleaning up the bodywork for that black Porsche, so that I can spray the gloss black and then get the chrome, at least get that part ready. Okay, we'll possibly do a video tomorrow again, we'll see. Happy modeling, cheers.